Hello,
Woo!
friends.
Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Weebs
Oh
Rise
my,
Up podcast, episode 1.
we did it, our first anime podcast, finally.
We finally made it after weeks of anticipation and preparation. We are finally here with the first episode. and I am here hosting myself. I am TGX Andy, longtime anime enthusiast, and I am joined by.
Conway underscore OW, I guess is my Twitch name, but Conway is just fine.
Uh,
And, let's see. I'm a filthy weeaboo. Yeah, that's my title.
yeah, we do have a command in chat for anyone who would like to get to know Kamui. Exclamation point Kamui will tell you more about her.
Ooh,
Aside from that, though, let's get
let's see it in
into.
action.
Let's see it in action. Yeah, sure. I can type it in. I'll type it
Amazing.
in. Anyhow, we are two Twitch streamers who've been doing our thing for. I think we've both been in it for probably about a year each.
Yeah, just about. Actually, has it been a year?
For
I
me,
guess
it's
it's,
been
yeah,
for
I
me
think
it's been close to
it's
a year, and I think you've been a little bit less of a year, less than a year.
Yeah, just about a year. I've been doing it since like maybe June
Yeah.
last year, but then I
Oh, so
also didn't.
you've been a streamer longer than me, actually. Then
Yeah, actually, I guess so.
nice. And we both have anime themed content. You might say not all the time, but we're both anime lovers who do the anime thing, and we're here on Twitch to celebrate anime together on this anime podcast talk show thing.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I play a lot of JRPGs, so I'm a big ass weeaboo. Like, I have OW in my name, but like, I hardly play Overwatch. I just play like anime, Japanese related games.
Um, so getting into introductions, yeah. So I've been a streamer for close to a year. Kamui's been a streamer for a little over a year. We both love anime. Let's talk about how we got into anime as our first subject of the day. Um, for me,
Yeah.
I started out like most people born around my time. I did watch shows like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and Naruto, but that wouldn't be when I would say that I really got into anime. I mean, I watched those shows a little bit, but like to me, they were just cartoons. And so when I would say that I really started getting into anime was when my sister showed me a show called Higurashi no Naku Koroni. I believe I was 11 at the time.
11 years old.
I was 11 years old, and it's a really good show. It's like a psychological horror type show with some really serious themes, but it was an amazing show, and we
Oh,
watched it
my
when I
lighting
was
is so terrible.
and she was so she would have been like 13 and I would have been like 11. We were watching that show together online, and that was like back when you could find anime on YouTube and stuff. So we were watching it,
Oh
and
my god, watching anime on YouTube at 480, like whatever 240p.
yeah. So it was good
I know.
times. It was good times, and that was my entry point. The what would become my descent into the world of anime. Um,
Descent.
from there, I mostly watched a bunch of other stuff that my sister was getting me into. She had me watch like Peach Girl with her and
Oh my god, I watched that too.
Black Cat.
I've
We
seen that
watched.
too.
Nice.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I've seen everything your sisters watched.
Nice.
Maybe we have the same taste.
Probably. So tell me about you, Kamui. How did you get into anime at a young starting age?
Okay, let's see. I mean, we probably did the same thing, the whole like on TV. We had, for me, I watched like Pokemon and like Yu-Gi-Oh, Mega Man, NT Warrior on like WB Kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, Cartoon Network had Toonami. And so like I've been always kind of watching anime, but when I started watching like Japanese online was probably Naruto, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And yes, I do remember the YouTube upload parts, part 1, part 2, part 3.
It was a
And then
mess.
you'd be like, part 2 got like whatever, YouTube took it down, but part 1 and 3 were still existing or something. And I was just like, you had to like Google search and everything. But like, it's hard to watch anime back then, like way when we were really young, because the internet wasn't like, the way it is now. So I guess how we got into real Japanese anime was like, we had to be a little bit older.
Yeah. How far
But I get
into Naruto did you watch when you first around watched it? Did you actually from
I
there
watched all of it.
you watched the whole thing all the way through? Nice.
Yeah,
Per-
I mean like wherever like, from episode 1, I just went to like however many episodes there were. Woo,
Nice.
huge raid.
Thank you, Squid, for the raid coming in from the so-called pre-show. This was a planned raid. This was
Oh,
a
it's a plan
yes,
raid.
yes, this was a planned raid. Thank you,
Huge.
Squid, for doing the pre-show before the anime podcast. We are here. Welcome, Zinyu and Squid.
Squid.
So yeah, for me, Higurashi. Yeah, I watched both seasons of Higurashi back to back.
Uh-huh.
And it was a good time. It was a good time. It was not
Higurashi.
it was not scarring in the slightest.
Wait,
It was
you
a
don't even you don't even like gore anime, right? Isn't it a
uh,
gore anime?
it's gory, yeah, but like I don't dislike gore anime that much. I mean, there's
Oh,
like
I thought
you
you
tried to
like it.
show me Golden Kamui that
Golden
one time,
Kamuy. It was like
and
gross.
there were some scenes that were just plain gross in that, and that's what
Dude, I
got
love
me. So there were things that were gory about Higurashi, not all the time, but like sometimes, and they
it.
were
Oh, it's psychological horror.
yeah, it was mostly psychological horror, and
I
so
see.
it wasn't always about just looking at some disgusting image. There was sometimes there were some scenes that got to me, like there was a torture scene where they're doing like the whole ripping off the nails and
Ooh.
stuff, but they didn't show much of it. Like they just did the whole implication of it. Like they got you knowing what was going on.
My first my first really gross anime, like really gory or like something that's like, way too like I shouldn't be watching this as a kid was Elfen Lied. I was like in middle school and I had to like close my eyes a little bit, like, oh my god, boobies.
I actually
Oh
still
my
have not seen it. Like my that was one of the shows my sister tried to get me to watch, but at the time I knew there were boobies in it and I was scared of the boobies and so I couldn't do it.
I was scared of the boobies too.
So I was too scared, so I didn't even attempt. So that was the
Oh,
end of it for me.
Elfen Lied was a ride.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
for
okay.
sure.
I also was that kid who would bring manga. I remember I was in 5th grade. I would bring manga to school. I was so into D and Angel. D and Angel was terrible, but I was so into it when I was little. And like I had like my manga, and then people would be like, "Oh my god, is it one of those like backward books?" They're like, "Yeah, you read it backwards." I was such a nerd. Oh my
You
god.
got to be
Oh
big brain to
yeah.
understand backwards books back then, though. Like that's new technology back then. So not everyone could get on
Apparently.
that level, you know.
Apparently, Andy here is not as keen with manga.
Oh yeah, it'd be like that, but
Okay, let's see.
So yeah, so the start of my anime journey was like that, watching Higurashi and those other shows my sisters were getting me into. There was also Azumanga Daioh was another one I watched early on with them, I think,
Oh my god.
and Lucky Star as well. So those were
Wait, so
some.
your sister was super into it
Yeah,
and like
those were. I
into
was just
everything?
following along with what my sister was watching because she was the expert.
Okay.
Over time now, though, I have become the anime expert, and she she doesn't really, but I would say she has to come
She
to
grew out
me.
of it.
No, I was gonna say
Oh, really?
she has to come to me. She doesn't really, but like
Oh, okay.
between the two of us, I am now the anime expert, and so if she did have a desire to get back in anime, she'd have to come to
Mhm.
me now. The tables have turned, is what I'm getting at. um, So
Just to show
beside
how the turntables.
so yeah, besides Naruto, you said you got into reading manga at that young age and
Oh
stuff.
hell yeah.
What an Elfen Lied you said, right?
Oh god. I wasn't really into it, I guess, but I was just watching it because like any anime was good to me back then, you know, like I would watch anything. So
Mhm.
that's why I've seen like tons of different genres because I was just like I'd always be into like something different and I didn't really care what it was really. So I just seen random anime I like
Did you
anywhere
get
here
in?
and there.
Did you get into like watching Inuyasha when that was broadcasting on Toonami or anything like that?
Oh no, no. So I was not allowed to be up past midnight. So anything like Adult Swim I couldn't watch. So I could watch Toonami, but like my dad wouldn't let me stay up past midnight. So I've never saw like Bleach, you know, and then I think Full Metal Alchemist was also at like Adult Swim, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think
I I
Inuyasha
I
was also Adult Swim.
I also wasn't able to stay up past like 9 or 10 when I was pretty young. It wasn't until I
Oh
was
my
in
god.
like high school that I was staying up till midnight. But even then, I wasn't staying up like past midnight for the most part when I was in high
Wow.
school. So
Really? Not even in high school?
yeah, yeah, I was fairly studious, so I was like getting up early in the mornings. But that's whatever.
Oh my
And
god.
so yeah, so
Okay.
what? Well, now when I really took off with enjoying anime, and what's got me to the point where I am now is when I was in college. After so in high school, I still watched a little bit of anime here and there, but when I was in college, I joined an anime club at my university.
No.
It was a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends there. It was
Really?
anime club was like the funnest thing about like college for me.
I've never done anything like that.
It was actually amazing. And so like during that time I got so many anime recommendations and stuff, so I was just like binge
Mhm.
watching shows left and right. And that's where I like really built up my roster and all my anime knowledge was during that time.
I still need to make my anime list.
Oh yeah, you do. You gotta
We
like
need to make my anime
document.
list and have it like linked up somewhere here.
Yeah. My anime list for reference, friends, is linked down below the stream. If anyone would
Oh,
like
is
to
it?
if anyone would like to peep my list.
I see. Now I gotta stock the list.
Yeah.
But Diddy!
Well, you're about to see if you do go on there and look at like how I've rated shows, you might get my answer to the next question on the on the schedule. We were going to talk about what our all-time favorite show is and why
All
people
time favorite show.
should watch. And I know you indicated to me that you might be more interested in talking about your favorite manga rather than anime, so that's fine as
Yeah.
well. Um, I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first.
Me? Okay. Whenever people ask me, okay, a really good all-time favorite. Honestly, all-time favorite, even though the anime was not as good, I always think of Tokyo Ghoul first because Tokyo Ghoul kind of like I don't know. I feel like I have felt strongly about a lot of anime, but Tokyo Ghoul just like set my brain on like a wild ride. So I feel like I love it so much because of how much like trauma it went put me through. Not trauma. There's just so many fucked up themes in it. I just love things like that. Just like things that kind of like fuck with my brain. I'm just like, oh yeah, I love it.
Mhm.
And so that's why I love Tokyo Ghoul. And because like there's so much crazy development that goes on, and like the main character who starts off completely innocent and then like he just goes through a huge drastic change, and like the story is like so good.
Well,
The ending.
I know there's not a lot of people here who aren't familiar with Tokyo Ghoul, but for the few that are, tell us about what Tokyo Ghoul's like basic plot line is, without going into spoilers, but like the basic plot line of what
The
Tokyo Ghoul is.
Oh, you want me to explain it?
Yeah, just a
Okay.
little bit.
So whoever hasn't seen Tokyo Ghoul, basically this world is, you know, the regular world in Japan or whatever, but in this world there's a bunch of people who are ghouls, or I don't know if you want to call them people, but you know, these are a little like marginalized society of ghouls. Not society. I'm making shit up. Okay, basically, there are ghouls in the world, and they're kind of hidden in human society. And
They
you know
look
the main
like people.
character.
They look like
They look like
people.
people,
They
but
blend
they lead.
in.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but they eat human meat. So that's why they are considered, horrible, like, to humans, because who the fuck wants to get eaten? And
Mm,
so basically, just like any main character, something will happen. They will always end up being tossed into that world of, being involved with the ghouls and, shit like that. I don't know. Should I even say what happens in the first episode? But that's kind of like, not a spoiler.
I would say covering the first episode doesn't count as a spoiler. You can cover the first episode, yeah.
I mean, basically, he just, first episode, something will trigger some horrible event, and he will, of course, become a ghoul. That's how he gets thrown into the ghoul world. And basically, the whole show will kind of be about, not be about humans versus ghouls in a way, and how, like, is it possible to coexist?
Hmm.
And yeah, I have
Why
to say,
why should everyone watch it or read it
why should
rather, whichever
everyone
version?
read it? Okay, definitely read it. Watching it is like, oh, if you want to see all the action and just like, it's like the animation's pretty decent, the action's like really cool, and the story itself is good. It's just the anime speeds it up so much and like cuts off all like important details, and I love like all the details in the manga. The manga has really good, how do you say, like puts in so many like references and like all the literature references in there. It's just so good. They're like all the meaning behind them. So the manga has all those details, and of course the whole story is planned out and presented in the manga that the anime doesn't like show.
Right.
But it's not a terribly long manga too, so it's doable. I mean, it's like only maybe 400 chapters about
To
for the total story.
me, that sounds like too much, but that's just for me.
Some people it's a lot. For me, it's not that much. It's not like One Piece.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, nothing comes like One Piece, really. Not
God,
only a few things come that far.
One Piece.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's just so good. I don't. If you want to like get a really good story with like, how do you say, if you want to get fucked up a little bit in the head, yeah, go for it, dude. Tokyo
Nice.
Ghoul's the way to go.
Um, so
How
for
about you?
my so for my anime that I selected to say is my number one. There's a few that come to being number one for me, just kind of in a tied position, but it depends on if you're counting like sequels or not and things like that. So for me, the way I narrow it down is just going with the most simple anime out of them. Uh, is Death Braid. Death Braid is going to be my number one anime. It's an anime that came out, I think, around like
Really, you love Death
2015.
Parade?
2015. It was a really good anime. It's only 12
Hmm.
episodes long, so it's a quick watch. It's a anime that talks about some really deep and dark themes. It goes into like judgment and like what it means to judge other humans, and like also talks about like subjects about like the afterlife and things. It's very deep. So the core
There's a lot of
concept of it,
philosophy.
right? It's very philosophical, and like the core concept of it is it explores what happens when people die, and it presents it in this way that it shows when you die, you arrive at this location, which they depict as a bar. So you show up at a bar, and the bartender tells you you now have to compete in a game with this other person who died at the same exact time as you. When you died at the same exact time as this person, you got pitted against this person in a competition. And based on the results of the competition will determine your judgment whether you are either reborn or you are sent into the void. You're cast into the void. That's the two options. Um, and there's a lot of implications with it, and it's crazy. And in the first episode, though, you find out that it's a whole more complex system about it, about having arbiters who are these godlike people who judge the humans based on the goodness of their actions and not really solely upon like how they respond to their results in the game. But the humans believe that their results in the game are what determine it, and so some humans become so greedy for that victory that they do terrible things, and it's like it's an amazing narrative that goes on in that show.
So it shows a lot about human nature
Right.
and how they are judged, how the arbiters, they're the one who judges, right? So
Right. So the bartenders are the arbiters, and the humans who come there are the people who come to be judged. Is what the scenario is set up to
yes.
be. And the games are very simple games. They like the first episode is a game of darts, and the second episode is
Yeah.
like a game of bowling. So like it's very simple
So
games that you can wrap your head around without like getting complex. But the way they explore the games and the themes they explore with the games are
it
really
actually
interesting.
it actually started off as an OVA. I watched it a long time ago. So it showed me this OVA. It was called Death Billiards. So the very first game, the original animation was actually a billiards game, and it had the that all those themes and concepts in that OVA. And I guess eventually they made it into a full series
Mhm.
of 12 episodes. So yeah.
But it's just like so impactful, and I've watched it 3 times. It's so impactful every time you watch it, just like revisiting the all the concepts that they go through in that show. Um, it's interesting for sure. That's
I
that's my number one, and I think it's something for everyone. Everyone can be interested in watching it. Like unless you're really scared of dark themes, it's something everyone can have an interest in watching, in my
ooh,
opinion.
I love me some dark themes.
Yeah. Uh,
Let's see.
so moving on to our next subject. What
What?
makes good anime good or good manga good?
Oh my. What
So
makes
I'll start off with a very basic premise. I think what makes a good anime good is just having a deep narrative that goes beyond what is happening at like a surface level. I think that's the key of it. And so with my example of Death Parade I gave before, that's very much what goes on in that. It's not just people playing games and they go to heaven or hell. There's a whole lot of deeper implications going on beneath it, and the characters all in that show all exist to serve a purpose of delivering that narrative, and it's really uniquely done, I think. That's what I would find to be what makes good anime good.
yes, that in a well eloquent eloquently said by Andy.
Well, what do
So
you
for
think?
me personally, like when I judge things, I do judge things, everything is judged on the surface level, of course, at first. So I always check like, the or like the art style, see if I like the art style, cuz like this is something you're going to be watching the whole time. If you
Mhm.
cannot like bear the art, then like how are you going to like, deal with it the whole time? So that's my thing at first. But sometimes I have read really good stories with like art is bad. Like okay, the art Tokyo Ghoul art is not terrible, but it's very sketchy in the manga. It's like hard to understand so it's very hard to read. Shingeki no Kyojin, Attack on Titan, the art wasn't like bad per se, but it wasn't great either. But it had a really good story. So those are like doable, like mangas that I could like read like
So you're saying
but
you
as
like
I
it
said,
when all the elements come together, though. Like you like when
yeah,
you would say your top picks are going to be the ones that like actually everything is in there, the whole package, the art and the story and the characters and everything.
yeah, essentially like of course as you said the whole narrative, the way that like it's just so well developed and just, you know, put out beautifully. I'm just like I guess that basically makes the anime or manga like, what makes it really good for
Hmm.
me besides just like the surface level art has to be good, the surface level like creativity, like oh, this story seems a little different. They're not putting like, generic anime elements of like the classic like I don't know, toast girl running out of first day of school kind of thing. Putting in all those tropes. It depends on how they deliver it, of course. Like I tend to be like, I don't like it if it's too like kind of fairy tale, kind of like puts too much shonen like tropes and elements. So I found it a little too boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
So stuff like that. There's a lot of factors, personal taste, of course, whatever.
Well, while we're on the subject, let's give the counter example or what what would be something that could turn a good anime bad, or what defines for you a bad anime or manga as being bad? What would show off that it's bad?
Well, I guess as you would say, if the art's bad and the story's bad, of course that's like
What would be a sign for you
surface level.
that the story's bad? What would have to happen in the
So if
story
you've
that would tell
seen
you it's
a
a bad
lot of
story?
if you've watched a lot of anime, you can kind of tell where the story is. A lot of anime follows a particular formula. So if you are very used to the formula, you kind of may find it boring. Like it's predictable.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, okay, then like why am I going to watch something that's super predictable? They're putting in all these elements that are just like so common. I've seen it in every anime. So that's like one factor to like isekai formula gross. Exactly. I do not like isekai actually. For all the isekai fans, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like
I don't.
yeah, I would say going along with what you're saying is just having like cardboard cutout characters would probably be one of the things that like gets me if it's like a character that's
Hmm.
so generic, unless they're like doing a play on it where they've got this character who's so unique and like has a unique trait to him. Kimetsu no Yaiba, which is a show that we're both currently watching, has characters like Zenitsu who has this he's got this whole unique character of being like this cowardly boy, and that's like his whole persona. There's not a whole lot to him. He's this cowardly boy who just falls in love with girls left and right, and
That's kind of a common.
it's so common, but like he refines it so good. I think the characters have him so refined that he just like makes fun of the trope in such a perfect way. Like his character works, and you just enjoy seeing it every single time. Um, it's hilarious watching him, and we actually skipped over that segment that we were supposed to watch. We were supposed to talk about what animes we're currently watching.
Our current anime.
Yeah, we'll get back to that one. I do want to say though about cardboard cutout characters. So you have other shows. So a show that I've given a particularly low rating to was
Mhm.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. I would there
Particularly Arc 5.
yeah, that's a show I've given like a 3 out of 10.
Oh my god.
And the characters all are so one-dimensional. It's unbearable. Like it's like how the Yu-Gi-Oh formula is like designed to be. The characters all follow this one-dimensional aspect, and they play cards that have like monsters and stuff that are designed around their one-dimensional character.
Welcome to the
And
Weebcast.
it's interesting in some cases, but in some cases, if you watch that character for 100 episodes straight and he just says the same lines over and over again, and his and the story he's crafting is literally not developing into anything, it's just the same thing over and over, then it's an awful character, and that makes that
And
anime bad.
Kiryu goes and makes a point where he's like, you could argue that all anime are formulaic. Think execution is more important through characters and their own particular story, which you are correct.
Mhm.
All anime follows a particular formula, and it's the way you present that formula. And most people present that formula in a way that's like, you know, the same every time too. Like the same like way they're doing it, the same like actions. It's just so common. So the way you execute it, you could execute it in a way that's completely different, of course, and that expresses the creativity. So I guess creativity plays like a huge role, of course, in just how you would present the anime slash manga.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, the animes can go bad fast if they're not going anywhere. If they're just not going
I mean,
anywhere too.
especially like shonen anime that are particularly very long, or
Hmm.
manga, they just like Bleach. The way it just kind of like, Bleach was like everyone was super into it. The big three anime. Bleach was like pretty good. It was all right, but then like it got to the point where it was getting into that same formula that he would follow every time. The bad guy would get the upper hand, and the good guy would get the upper hand. The bad guy was like, "Wait a second, I actually had a secret. This isn't even my final form." And then you're like, "Oh shit, guys!" And then the main character looks like they died, or no, the bad guy looks like he was killed, and he's like, "Oh, wait a second, I have one, I
Yeah.
have one more final form."
um, I would say also, like in long form anime, long running anime or manga, you have to have something that keeps it fresh. Like, yeah, you can't fall into a pit of reusing content, or and that's a terrible thing that some shonen follows. Like they'll have the flashback scenes that they're actually just grasping
Ah,
and reusing content, just
facts.
recycling and not
Mhm.
creating anything new. Um,
The Naruto flashback scenes. Re- Wait, so Pretty MTG, let me answer your little. I had a whole segment about Tokyo Ghoul earlier. I don't know. I guess you weren't here. So basically, the anime is all right. It's good if you want to see like good action, a pretty decent story, but like the manga is everything to me. I love it so much. But like the art's pretty decent. It's pretty good for Tokyo Ghoul anime, I think. I don't remember watching all of it actually. Did you watch it all, Andy?
I watched all of the Tokyo Ghoul season 1 and season 2, but not Tokyo Ghoul Re. I
It
haven't. S-
does. The story does go a little like like crazy in season 2 of the anime because it kind of rails off the manga. So we're just kind of like, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say as a standalone anime, it's good. It is good by itself, and people will say the manga is better. So yeah, if you're into manga, give the manga a try
Yeah.
if you liked it so far. But of course, give your own opinion. I'd like to hear from you
Which
what
girl
you
are we
thought of
talking
it.
about?
So,
Wait, for who? Pretty? MTG? Or me?
oh wait, what's up? um.
So
Anyways,
wait, so
but
you like the anime a lot?
I
Just
think I liked it quite a bit personally.
mhm.
And I
It's
haven't
hard
read
for
the
me to
manga.
say. I have trouble talking about the anime because I have like I'm a manga person.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was visually appealing, like the whole way through. The characters I think were interesting. There were characters that were just outright crazy and weird and stuff, and it was cool to see them like in action and see all the interactions between them. So it was a good anime
What's
to me.
what's nice is that the main characters are all like good. Like a really good anime is also something that where like you can remember the characters and like you know how like you watch an anime, there's no particular character that was like super defining to you, so like you kind of forget it. Even if the anime was decent or good, you forget about that anime completely eventually. You know? So to me a lot has to be like defining characters, that are like that really make an impact to you.
Hmm.
And so like Tokyo Ghoul does that, has like quite a few characters that are just really good. And
Yeah,
which girl you talk about, Pretty MTG?
I think he's talking about Toka.
Toka,
It's
right?
probably
Toka, she's
Toka.
a
Toka's a good girl, good pick,
Toka. She
solid
is
pick.
she is the waifu of Tokyo Ghoul. I love Rise though, even though she was literally just in the first episode of the anime, right? I mean, she
Um,
makes some reappearances as like
oh
it's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
hard
I know
to
who you're talking
say
about.
how she reappears, but
She does appear in the second season a bit too, and later in the first
I
season I
should
think too. So
I
she
should have
has
done a
some
Rise
pops ups, but
cosplay, guys. Oh my god, long hair, glasses.
oh yeah, I can see
I can see it.
it.
Loves to eat, guys. Question mark.
Yes, yes, all of those unique characteristics you both share. Yeah. Um. Anyhow, going back to the subject we missed though, the shows that we're watching currently.
So we're watching the same thing, right? Unless you're watching other stuff.
I have 6 different airing animes that I'm watching right now.
Oh
It
my.
was 7, and then JoJo's Bizarre Adventures current season ended, so it was 7, but now it's 6.
Oh, really? Okay.
Um,
So what we
I'm
have in common is Fruits Basket and Kimetsu no Yaiba, which is Demon Slayer in English. So those two we have in common, but you can name the other ones.
yeah, and then I'm also watching Fire Force. So I'm watching those two.
Yeah.
So Kimetsu no Yaiba, Fruits Basket, Fire Force. I'm watching, which is this shonen about these fire demons appear. People turn into fire demons specifically. They spontaneously combust and turn into fire demons. And firefighters who fight with fire fight the fire demons. And it's pretty
Yes.
unique. It's created by the same creator as Soul Eater, so it's an interesting watch. So I'm up to date
Oh, it's the
watching
Soul
that.
Eater.
It's the creator of Soul
Ah,
Eater, yeah.
yeah, I never seen Soul Eater.
Oh, okay. And that was another one of the ones my sisters got me to watch early in my years as a newfound anime fan. Like when around the time I was like 14, 13, I was watching Soul Eater. Another show
Oh,
I'm watching is Copcraft, which is this like show. It's a show that follows two detectives in the police force. One of them is a human guy who is this rugged 40-year-old guy. He's been in the police force doing police work, detective work forever, and he's that cool dude. And then his detective partner is this like 16-year-old girl,
of
alien
course.
girl
Classic
from another
anime.
world because their worlds have crossed over. The alien world
Oh
has crossed
god.
over with the human worlds, and the aliens are leaking through, and they're doing alien crimes in the human world. And now
Oh
these two
my
have teamed up
god.
to deal with the alien crimes.
It's just something so bizarre. Just classic anime, like a small alien girl who looks like a little thing.
Yeah.
Classic anime.
So that's a good show that I'm watching as well. I'm watching also Nice. Oh no, that's not a airing anime that I'm watching. I'm watching Tajina Senpai, that is currently airing.
That's the is that the big boob girl who's kind of dumb with the magician thing or no?
Yes, it's the big boob girl, dumb magician girl, magic club, and
Ah,
and dumb trick do funny, and that's
you
about all
guys
you need
watch
to
it
know.
too.
I could have sworn there was one more airing anime that I'm watching. I forgot what it is. For a second, I mixed up a show
So
that.
we are a little behind still on Fruits Basket and Kimetsu no Yaiba, and I think I was gonna watch Given. I believe Given is like a current anime that I said I was like gonna start watching. So basically, Given is like, oh god, I only read the manga like 4 years ago, maybe.
Hmm.
It's like a music anime, but it's very like emotional. It goes into like their past and of course one of the characters has like a traumatizing past at least, classic anime. But it's got like, you love I know you guys know that I love me some homosexual boys. So
Hmm.
there's a little bit of that I think in the anime. It's not I'm not sure if the genre is that for the anime because the manga is, but it's shonen ai for the manga, but I don't know if the anime is shonen ai. But there'll be, the little bit of the tension between characters.
Interesting. Tell us more about the other two animes, the two airing animes
Fruits
you're watching
Basket.
now. Yeah.
Okay, so Fruits Basket. Everyone here has to have heard of or should know a little bit about Fruits Basket. But I read the whole manga, but they're finally remaking the 2019 this year's remake of the old anime Fruits Basket. So basically, oh god, how do I even explain the story?
You've got this. Just talk
So
about what
basically
happens.
on the first episode, okay, there's this really cheerful, bright high school girl. Her mom dies, so she's extremely poor. She lives in a tent out in the woods. And so, um, Fruits Basket's Brotherhood, basically. Gabe, is that you? The anime TGX Andy's Gabe?
Yeah.
Um, and so basically poor girl lives in the woods, whatever. She goes to school with these guys. I fucking what even happens? I can't even remember. So basically there's these people, this family of people, they will turn into animals if the opposite gender hugs them because that's just the curse in their little families. So there's like a specific group of people that are cursed with not being able to hug anyone of the opposite gender. Like God, imagine holding hands with a girl. God, too lewd. Not in my anime. Not in my Christian household. So God, imagine hugging. So basically, she ends up accidentally finding out about their secret. That is, of course, their family secret. Who would want to see a random person turn into an animal? And so she basically ends up living with them, and then like it ends up just being a more like a development of her like changing, I guess, the family's like, all the cursed people's family. She ends up being like a huge part of like their lives, and how she like basically changes their lives and everything.
Yeah, they like grew up
And
this
how
certain
they like,
way. They
yeah,
were
develop.
like they were very sheltered, and they had this certain way they had to grow up and live. And like she's come into their lives, and she's showing them a new way, and she's like changing the whole family from within, from like just the whole family. It's a huge, long, extended family, and she's gonna change all of them.
Everyone's gonna change. Everyone's gonna great. You get a development. You get a development. Everybody gets a development.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other anime, which is Kimetsu no Yaiba. I did not read the manga, so of course I don't know everything that happens. But from what we have seen, basically this guy, this little, he looks like he's like 14. I don't know.
He starts
Main
out
character,
14 at the start of the show. Yeah.
Shonen anime. Okay, shonen anime always has young boys as the protagonist. So basically, young protagonist has his family that lives in the mountains, and there's demons in their world. And basically, eventually, one day, a demon kills his family. Classic anime. We see it in every show.
Every show, every single
Every
show,
show.
Demon kills
Every
the
show.
whole family. Yes. Continue
Yeah, I
though.
mean, come on. The mother's always got to die. No mom lives in any movie, show, whatever. And so basically his whole family's dead except for his sister. His sister is still breathing. And so he tries to save her, but he finds out that she has turned into a demon. And so he basically um meets a demon slayer who tries to kill his sister, but he wants to protect her, of course, even though she is trying to kill him still. so, and so basically the demon slayer was moved by his, love for his sister and like compassion, so he helps the boy and kind of like leads the boy into becoming a demon slayer, and he kind of goes on a journey to see if he can cure his sister. Right? That's the premise,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Go cure the sister. Kill demons. Cure sister.
Yes, not kill his demon sister.
Yeah. Kill other demons, but except for the sister. Cure sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, those shows are good. I'm enjoying everything I'm watching so far. None of the shows that I've wanted to drop.
hmm
All of the
Well, so
airing animes.
Demon Slayer has a particularly really good art.
Hmm.
Actually, it's really unique, and it has like really great animations. The way they like include like that, like some like 3D CGI or whatever, and then like really good like different art styles just playing into like um when they do like their secret techniques or whatever,
Yeah.
action anime moves. And so that's what we're watching this season. I forgot what I was gonna say actually. You go.
Um, so far, of the five shows I'm watching right now, probably my favorite is actually Kimetsu no Yaiba. So far, because like it's actually super interesting. It's probably the most interesting. It might just be the most interesting shonen I've ever watched so far.
Really?
I think
You
so.
mean in your life?
I think it like beats out like where Naruto and other shows like that are for me.
To, to
It
me,
does a
the
lot of the same things,
story,
but it's more refined.
the story isn't like doesn't resonate like super deep to me personally. That's my opinion. I like watching it just for like the fun of watching it.
Hmm.
But to me, the story doesn't like get me like, whoa, this anime is amazing. Like it's pretty good to watch. It's fun to watch,
So
but
then,
I'm not like
which would be your
super
favorite that you're currently watching then?
favorite that I'm currently watching. I mean, Fruits Basket is something that I already read the manga of like way back. So it's just like, oh, I get to see something really old. Now it's being redone and coming back, like your childhood's coming back kind of feeling.
Yeah,
But I mean, the story is really good, but I'm not like super into it anymore.
I see.
I guess Kimetsu no Yaiba right now is like just the more interesting thing to watch right now for me. But I will try to watch more anime from this season so I can be more knowledgeable.
Nice. So, as a note to everyone watching and listening right now, the two of us each host anime nights of our own where we are watching these
That's what I was
shows
gonna
that we've
mention.
been talking about. Yeah. So, on Saturday nights, you can catch me watching the shows that I listed. Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in my Discord, which you can find by !Discord. Or if you're looking to join Kamui in her anime nights where she's watching the shows that she listed, you can type !Kamui and visit her Discord and join her for her anime nights on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yay, Delta! Thank you so much for demonstrating. So, wait, did you mention what anime we're watching on mine?
Well, the same ones you listed, so Kimetsu, yeah, you're
Oh,
watching
okay, yeah, you said
Kimetsu no
it. Okay,
Yaiba and Fruits
Fruits Basket
Basket.
and my anime nights. If I don't know if we'll add another one. We'll see. We'll hold off on that. Late news announcement later.
Right. Um, so moving on to our final segment before we go to just chatting with chat on Q&A. Our final segment that we have is going to be a weekly segment, and we don't have a name for it. Not an exact name, anyways. It's either waifu slash husbando wars or it's character wars or whatever. But me and Kamui have both picked out a character that is one of our favorites.
Go for it, Delta.
Not necessarily our number one ever, but our favorite characters. Yes, waifu wars.
Waifu Wars.
However you want to call the segment. It's not only limited to waifus though.
Anyone's my waifu. Leo's my waifu.
We've each
That's
picked
my
out
baby.
characters that we would
You're
like
my waifu.
to have battle out to the death. Not literally, but we'll just introduce our characters and talk about why our character is the cooler character. So,
Whoa.
without further ado, here are our characters. I'm pulling them up on screen now. Here is my character. My character is Jibril from No Game, No Life.
Oh my.
And I'll put yours on screen, so Kamui, introduce your character.
Yes. I think anyone could guess because I was talking about Tokyo Ghoul for the past however long. So as you can tell, I loved Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. Did you
Yes.
explain your character?
So Jibril from No Game No Life, she is what's called a flugel, something along those lines. She is a person with wings. She's like an angel person, and she is a war machine. And in her past, she did lots of killing, and she's very magical. She has a lot of magical powers, but she loves books. She's really big on books and knowledge, and her interaction with the characters is they meet her, and in order for the main characters to get her on her side, they end up bribing her with an endless library of books. And
oh god, that huge bribe though.
And they win her over after having a competition with her and they win the competition against her, and it's crazy and all that. But she is waifu. Clearly a cute girl, pink hair, nice wings, all that, and loves books, kills things. That's all you really need to know.
Only an anime where you have like small cute girls actually a demon killing machine or something like 10,000.
She's not a demon though. She's not a demon. She's definitely an angel. She's an angel.
I know. I'm just saying, random.
So go ahead and introduce Kaneki Ken.
Okay. A lot of people here have seen Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki Ken. A lot of people in the beginning would be like, he's so annoying, he's being a wimp. But he's a human. He's a human who's never seen like death, and like, who would want to see another human die? So of course he's gonna be like, I'm not sure if I want to kill another person, or like kill like, people or ghouls or whatever. And he's like new to this world, so he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's confused. But I love him so much because of the huge development that Tokyo Ghoul goes. He's the main protagonist that just goes through like the craziest development. Everyone knows he ends up like with white hair, so that's when he kind of like loses that innocence of, a lot of people thought he was super annoying as like in the beginning because he's like being a wimpy human, like, I'm crying all the time because I don't want to kill a person. But I mean, but yeah, so basically he goes through a huge development where he changes his character completely. Like, I don't know of many anime that changes their characters as hard as this character gets changed because of the trauma he goes through. And
Yeah.
like, you guys know I love me a little bit of a defiling innocent boys, right? So he's a innocent boy who gets so fucked up hard. And so basically that's why he gets white hair. And he changes again in the next season because other shit happens that I can't say. So he just goes through so much change, but I love him so much just because of like that whole like the psychological change, the physical appearance change of course happens.
Hmm.
And I can't say too much about like specific things because that's like technically a spoiler. I don't know if everyone's seen Tokyo Ghoul or not.
Right.
Shh,
So
you can't say that, Santi.
so
Apollo McNugget. Shh.
you now have to tell me why you think Kaneki Ken is better than Jibril.
I wouldn't say he's better,
You have to say
but
that he's
I
better.
have to. Oh god, he is better because he's a cute boy. I'm just kidding. Let's see. I
Jibril
mean,
can drop bombs on this fool by flying ahead and just
okay.
nuking down, and she reads books.
Oh,
She's
okay.
smart grill.
Oh, that's a thing they have in common, actually. Kaneki loves reading books. He's actually a literature major in his university.
Oh, nice.
So they're both, they're both in a pursuit of knowledge through books. Actually, he's more into like reading like, literature books. And so that's why the manga has so many literature references. Like in I believe the first chapter, he talks about Kafka's metamorphosis, like the way the guy becomes a cockroach, and so Kaneki becomes this, horrible creature, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. Are we comparing a best girl to a best boy? Yeah, that's a little like we
That's
can't like
base.
compare best girl to best boy. So if I were to
Yeah, that's why we didn't have a name for this segment because we do have the crossover technology going on, and
okay,
we're not necessarily pitting them in a battle to the death. We're just saying why they're the better character, and as an example for one of the reasons why my character's better, that's because she could kick his ass. That's just one
she
reason.
flies.
That
What?
doesn't necessarily mean she wins the
Kaneki
battle, but
Kaneki ate so many ghouls, and he's becoming a disgusting like monster that he's become. All to lose to a lonely girl? No,
he's not a lolly.
he didn't go through all this bullshit just to get shit on by this winged grill anime loli. Dude, I played Dota anime custom games. I don't even know what an Dota anime custom game, but yeah, Kaneki should win every time.
Interesting, interesting. So yeah, that's our character war. Unless you have anything else to say on the subject, it didn't seem like. I think we've wrapped it up with these two characters. They're both
I
cool
mean,
characters, you know. Um,
yeah. Does Kaneki even know what he's doing? No, he still doesn't know what he's doing, but you know what? I'm so sad. Tokyo Ghoul's over, and it was good, and it's great, but it's fine. His story has wrapped up, and now he lives happily. Or is he? Don't his tentacles fight for him? Yeah,
yeah,
so
good
he's got
point. He doesn't even fight
tentacles.
for
He's
himself,
got
so like,
tentacles. What do you mean?
his...
What's his? It's literally like those tentacles are made out of his blood. Yeah, that was a little bit of a spoiler. Oh, well, I
Uh-oh.
didn't really mean anything by it, Andy. I was just,
Anyhow, moving on to our last 5 minutes of the podcast, we would like to open up the floor for any questions from the chat, any topics,
That's true,
hard-hitting
Gabe.
topics. Tentacles are an
Hard-hitting
anime girl's
topics. Well,
worst
I think
enemy.
Gabe just brought out a good point. Tentacles are an anime girl's worst enemy. So he wins.
But they
He's
can
got
also be an
tentacles.
anime girl's best friend. And I think Jibril is the kind she can tame those tentacles.
You mean you're trying to tell me she's into it? Is what you're telling me? Now I gotta go on Hentai Haven and look for her.
Oh no. But if anyone has any hard-hitting topics, the real tough questions about the nature of anime and what it means to anime or
The
manga.
nature of anime, what it means to anime.
Yes. Is hot dog a sandwich? If not, why? And if so, is it an anime? Hot dogs are probably a sandwich, and they are not always an anime. That's my argument.
There's not a lot of hot dogs in anime, actually.
Yeah, hot dogs are
Really.
underrepresented in anime right now.
Well, it's in a lot of hentai anime.
Hot dogs are?
Are good things bad or good? I don't know. It depends, Gabe. Are they?
like what? Who kind of things?
Things, just things,
Things. Good things,
Hot
bad
dogs,
things.
exactly. They're hot dogs. It's always like that scene where like the guy is just like watching a girl eat like a popsicle or something, and the popsicle is like you only see like their mouth and like the tip of that like popsicle or like hot dog wiener or something, and then he's just kind of like like watching her eat it like closely. Yeah.
Yikes,
So
dude.
I guess that's the representation of hot dogs in anime. The extent of it.
If someone told you the objectively best anime exists and gave you a copy for free, would you watch it? I mean, yeah, I'd
What do you
watch
mean
it.
like a copy for free? Why can't you just go on the internet?
Yeah, if they told me it was the objectively best anime, I mean, what would I do? Just not watch it? Like, of course I'm gonna try to watch it. Like,
I'll argue with them. I'll be like, no, you can't tell me what the best anime is because I've already seen the best anime. I think you're wrong. Yeah, basically, Andy, you got it. Kitty goes it, I mean. What if it ruins anime after that? I don't know. How would it ruin anime?
yeah, it'd be fine if anime got ruined. Let's let it happen.
Why would
Look,
you want to ruin anime?
I'm just
Anime is
listening.
already ruined. Anime is a
No,
mistake.
I don't think you
Hayao
can.
Miyazaki.
I don't think you can ruin anime. You anime is always gonna be. It's you're always going up from here. You will never ruin anime. I mean, the
Of course
shows
not.
that used to be good, they're just not as good as the shows that are now good. So like that's how it
Anime was a
goes.
mistake. Hayao Miyazaki. Oh god. Yeah. I'm glad you guys agree that anime was a mistake, and I don't know why we're doing this podcast anymore.
Oh no.
It was a mistake all along. God damn it.
There was a time when anime was ruined, you say, Gabe? Interesting.
You said
Hmm.
anime was ruined in like 2006 to like 2009. Why was it ruined during that time? Was
Didn't
it a,
like
like a particular genre?
didn't like Haruhi Suzumiya come out in like 2007?
Oh
That was
my
a
god. I
that's a good
watched that.
show.
I watched it, but remember that one season where they just kept doing the same thing every episode over and over again? Like, did you watch that season?
Yeah, I watched like the first episode. I skipped the I didn't watch all of the bad part like that.
What anime was great? What was the golden age anime in the late 2000s? Kitty goes in. And yes, isekai is a mistake. Haruhi, when your friends hang out with you only to prevent an apocalypse.
A good
Actually,
reason.
well, when your friends hang out with you, like they actually like secretly worship you as their god, but also try to prevent the apocalypse. That's not bad. You're kind of worship. I mean, she's the leader of the pot. Like they're her posses essentially, and she's the leader.
All right, last few questions here. Do you believe there is tension between K-pop and anime fans?
Well, there are two
Um,
different groups of people, Koreaboos and Weeaboos. They like very
yeah,
different things. Koreaboos tend to be obsessive towards real life people that will never love them. And then we got anime people who like animated characters that will never love them.
good
So
point.
choose your pick.
Yeah, so I think to answer the question whether or not there's tension, yes, sexual tension. All right.
Ooh,
Any more,
spicy.
any more questions?
Your anime girl body pillow loves you. Who is it? Who's your anime girl body pillow? Nope, nope. I'm sure you do. You have to have one. Everyone has one.
All right.
Everyone has one, right? You have one, right, Andy?
Not yet, but in the future.
Not yet. Oh my god. If anyone wants to sponsor the Monster Musume girl body pillow, the really, really, really long one, please do. Here, I got a body pillow.
A good body pillow right there.
Listen
Gabe,
here, my waifu is real and also in love with me. We just have to break through the single dimension stopping us from being together. You just gotta do, you gotta have your own real life isekai story, and then you'll be with her forever and ever. It was around the time a lot of popular shows all came out, different genres. Haruhi, Higurashi, TTGL? I probably know what that is, but I can't think of it. Bakado's so good. Okay. Lucky Star, Clannad, Code Geass. Code Geass! Ooh!
oh my
My
god.
jumps in front of Truck Kun. That is a classic anime trope thing that I was talking about. The truck. I didn't mention it, but I was kind of like thinking in my head actually. The whole like reusing the same like every character that's died in every anime it was hit by the same truck over and over again.
It's the same truck, yeah. He he
It's the
he
same truck.
he does some like national work.
He
Yeah.
the truck has its own isekai anime where it goes to different every nation, just kills at least one person.
Yeah.
In the anime. Truck slash
Alrighty.
bus, whatever it is.
Alrighty though, friends. I do believe we are out of time for this week.
We did it! Yay!
First episode complete of the Weebs Rise Up podcast. Now, if you would like to join us next week for the next episode of the Weebs Rise Up podcast, it will be hosted over at Kamui_OW's
That's
Twitch
me.
channel. It will not be hosted next week at the TGX Andy Twitch channel. It will next week be at the Kamui_OW Twitch channel. So catch us live next week over there. We will be hitting even harder hitting topics next week. We may or may not arrange to have a guest. We don't know yet, but it's a possibility. We will have things planned for next week. It'll be an even better episode. We can only go up from here. Cannot possibly be worse than this episode.
Oh my
So,
god.
so
I guess.
we're on the rise. All right. So,
We go
um,
up here.
we don't have plans to
Ever
upload
upward. Oh
to
wait.
iTunes Apollo, but we will probably be definitely uploading these to my YouTube channel. So I will
Oh
message you about that
yay!
if that happens. So yes, friends, we
SoundCloud.
will. Thank you all for showing up to our first episode, though. It was great to have all
Yes,
of you
thank you
in
so much.
attendance.
In
Um,
attendance.
if you guys would like to support the show, though, one of the best things you could probably do for us is come up with topics for us. Message either me or Kamui if you have hard hitting topics you would like us to talk about
Oh
on the
yeah.
show, and we'll try to
Things we want to
incorporate them in.
discuss. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we'll be
If you
looking to
got
the
any good
community.
memes.
We'll be looking to the community in the future to bring people on the show, so that it's not always only me and Kamui. We'll try to have other people from the community in, and it should
Well,
be
we got
lots of
Leo
fun.
right here. He can talk about anime. Right, Leo? Okay. I
but
didn't really
yes,
point at him
friends.
correctly.
But yes, friends, we will catch you all next week. Follow Kamui_OW if you want to catch the next ones. We'll
Yeah, and yeah, find me next week on my channel. Us, I mean, not just me.
yes, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.